Let's get started with our first news. Big news is coming out of the welterweight division, as Michael Morales has officially confirmed that his next UFC fight has already been booked. While the UFC hasn't announced his opponent just yet, it looks like an official reveal could be arriving very soon. This update comes shortly after new information surfaced regarding Shavkat Rakhmonov's recovery. We reported yesterday that Shavkat's physician, Miki Marward, provided an update on his condition, explaining that the welterweight contender is not expected to return until the winter. That means fans may not see Shavkat back inside the octagon until either the end of this year or even the beginning of next year. Because of that timeline, many fans began wondering what Michael Morales would do next. Instead of waiting several more months for a possible matchup with Shavkat, it appears Morales has already decided to stay active and continue building momentum inside the division. Interestingly, Morales recently posted a video online showing himself watching the fight between Shavkat and Garry. During the clip, fans noticed that Morales deliberately zoomed in on Shavkat's name, immediately sparking speculation that he was interested in fighting him once he returned. The post quickly got people talking, with many believing Morales was sending a clear message to one of the top contenders in the welterweight division. However, with Shavkat now expected to remain sidelined until the winter, the situation has obviously changed. Rather than sitting on the sidelines and waiting, Morales has confirmed that his next step is already in motion. A fan recently asked Morales directly if he already had a fight booked. His response was short, simple, and very revealing. He replied with one word: yes. That brief response was enough to generate plenty of excitement, as it confirms that Michael Morales already has his next assignment lined up. Now it's just a matter of time before the UFC makes the matchup official and reveals exactly who he'll face next. Move on to another news. The upcoming welterweight title fight between Garry and Islam Makhachev continues to divide the MMA world. While plenty of fans believe Islam will dominate the matchup, not everyone is convinced the fight will be completely one-sided. Even so, former UFC champion Chris Weidman and former lightweight title challenger Dustin Poirier believe Garry is about to face one of the toughest tests of his entire career. During the latest episode of Deep Waters on Paramount+, both fighters broke down the matchup and explained why they think Islam's unique style could create serious problems for Garry. According to Weidman, the biggest issue isn't just Islam's wrestling ability. It's the constant pressure that comes from knowing a takedown could happen at any moment. Weidman explained that he expects this to be an incredibly stressful fight for Garry. In his opinion, Garry won't be able to fight with the same confidence and freedom that fans are used to seeing. Instead, he'll constantly be thinking about defending takedowns, making it much harder to settle into his usual striking rhythm. Weidman also pointed out that people sometimes overlook Islam's striking, saying his stand-up is dangerous enough to force opponents into even more difficult situations. As soon as Weidman finished making his point, Dustin Poirier immediately agreed with his assessment. Unlike many analysts, Poirier has first-hand experience inside the octagon with Islam, so he understands exactly how difficult it is to deal with that relentless wrestling threat. Poirier explained that when he fought Islam, he couldn't fully commit to throwing his biggest punches because every exchange carried the risk of being taken down. Instead of planting his feet and letting his hands go, he found himself fighting much more cautiously than normal. That hesitation, he said, completely changes the way a fighter approaches every moment of the fight. According to Poirier, the fear of the takedown doesn't just affect your wrestling defense, it changes your entire striking game. Fighters become more careful, throw fewer combinations, and hesitate before committing to powerful shots because they know one mistake could put them on their backs. That mental pressure can slowly take away the aggressive style that made them successful in the first place. Both Weidman and Poirier believe that same challenge awaits Garry. If Islam is able to establish that takedown threat early, Garry could find himself fighting far more cautiously than usual. That could completely change the flow of the contest and play directly into Islam's game plan, making this one of the most important and demanding fights of Garry's career. Move on to another news. It looks like the lightweight division may finally be moving forward, as new reports suggest that Arman could be set to face Charles Oliveira in a highly anticipated rematch at UFC 331. While the UFC has not officially confirmed the matchup yet, multiple reports indicate that the fight has already been finalized, and fans could soon see these two top contenders share the octagon once again. With very little news surrounding Ilya's return, and recent speculation suggesting he may not compete until around December, the lightweight title picture has remained uncertain. At the same time, Justin Gaethje has made it clear that he intends to sit out for the rest of the year. Because of those developments, all signs have started pointing toward a rematch between Arman and Charles Oliveira. We recently reported that Hunter Campbell held a meeting with Arman during UFC Abu Dhabi Fight Week. At the time, many fans believed the meeting was related to his next fight, and now it appears that assumption may have been correct. According to the latest reports, Arman has been matched up against Oliveira for one of the biggest fights on the UFC 331 card. The report comes from Ring Magazine journalist Manuk Akopian, who stated that multiple sources have informed him the rematch has officially been finalized for September 19th. He shared the news on X, saying that Arman and Charles Oliveira are expected to meet at UFC 331 inside the Crypto Arena in Los Angeles. He also added that the UFC is expected to announce the full fight card, along with ticket information, in the near future. Although the promotion has yet to make anything official, the timing certainly makes sense given the current state of the lightweight division. With several top contenders waiting for clarity and championship opportunities on hold, this rematch could play a major role in determining the next title challenger. Another topic generating plenty of discussion is whether the BMF championship will be on the line if the fight becomes official. Fans have shared mixed opinions online regarding Oliveira holding that belt, while others believe it would add even more excitement to an already massive matchup. As of now, there has been no confirmation regarding the championship status of the contest. If the fight goes ahead as expected, it will be a rematch of their memorable clash at UFC 300. On that night, Arman earned a hard-fought split decision victory over Charles Oliveira in one of the most competitive fights on the card. A second meeting between them has all the ingredients to deliver another must-watch battle inside the octagon. Move on to another news. Sean Strickland is once again making headlines, and this time it has nothing to do with what happens inside the octagon. As the reigning UFC middleweight champion continues his second title run, he has once again spoken out against the UFC's fighter pay structure. While many champions choose to avoid criticizing the promotion, Strickland has never been afraid to voice his opinions, and his latest comments are among his strongest yet. During a recent interview with Sean Ryan, Strickland openly discussed the financial reality many UFC fighters face, especially those just starting their careers. According to him, many athletes sign contracts that pay $10,000 to show and another $10,000 to win. While that may sound like a decent amount at first, Strickland explained that the final paycheck looks very different after all the necessary expenses are deducted. He pointed out that fighters still have to pay their managers, coaches, training expenses, and taxes. If a fighter loses the bout, they only receive their show money, meaning that after all those deductions, they may be left with only a small portion of what they originally earned. Strickland argued that this creates an extremely difficult situation, especially if a fighter gets injured and is unable to compete again for several months. Strickland went on to describe the UFC's payment system as brutal and even called it predatory. He believes that many fighters struggle financially despite competing in the world's biggest MMA promotion. According to him, only the very top stars are truly making life-changing money, while everyone else is fighting to stay afloat. He also explained why fighters from countries with lower living costs often appear to do much better financially. Strickland said that athletes from places like Brazil or Dagestan can return home after earning UFC pay and live very comfortably because their money stretches much further. By comparison, he argued that the same amount of money in the United States may only cover a few months of rent and basic expenses. At the same time, Strickland admitted that he personally earns good money at this stage of his career. However, he stressed that his situation is not the reality for the majority of fighters on the UFC roster. As expected, his comments have sparked another wave of debate throughout the MMA community. Some people argue that fighter pay has improved significantly over the years, while others point out that even mid-level UFC athletes can still build respectable careers compared to many fighters in other organizations. Regardless of where fans stand on the issue, Strickland has once again brought the conversation surrounding UFC fighter pay back into the spotlight. Move on to another news. Weidman has shared his thoughts on Magomed Ankalaev's recent performance, and he believes it proved exactly why so many people considered him a very difficult matchup for Alex Pereira. Following Ankalaev's latest appearance inside the octagon, Weidman explained that the fight reminded everyone just how effective Magomed can be when he fully utilizes every part of his game. Speaking about the performance, Weidman rejected the criticism that had been directed toward Ankalaev. In his opinion, the result was not Magomed's fault at all. Instead, he believes the fight unfolded exactly the way a smart and experienced contender should approach a high-level, 5-round contest. According to Weidman, fighters competing over 5 rounds cannot simply charge forward from the opening bell. They need to manage their energy, study their opponent, and make adjustments as the fight develops. That measured approach may not always produce fireworks early, but it often leads to long-term success against elite competition. Weidman pointed out that after taking some time to settle into the contest, Magomed gradually took complete control of the fight. In his view, Ankalaev was able to dictate where the action took place, remain composed under pressure, and consistently stay one step ahead of his opponent. That overall performance convinced Weidman that Magomed dominated the fight from start to finish. One aspect that impressed Weidman the most was Ankalaev's wrestling. He explained that fans had not seen Magomed rely on his grappling as much in recent fights, making this performance stand out even more. By mixing his striking with effective takedowns and positional control, Ankalaev showcased the complete skill set that has made him one of the toughest fighters in the division. Weidman believes that was exactly the version of Magomed people expected to see when discussions first started about a matchup with Alex Pereira. While Pereira is widely recognized as one of the most dangerous strikers in mixed martial arts, many analysts have long believed that a disciplined wrestling attack would present one of the biggest challenges to his style. By successfully incorporating his grappling into the fight, Ankalaev reminded everyone why that matchup generated so much interest. Rather than relying solely on striking exchanges, he demonstrated that he has the ability to control opponents in multiple areas of the game and force them into uncomfortable positions. For Weidman, this performance reinforced the idea that Magomed possesses the tools needed to create serious problems for elite strikers. His patience, fight IQ, wrestling, and ability to dominate across different phases of the contest are exactly why he continues to be viewed as one of the most dangerous and complete fighters competing at the highest level. Move on to another news. The UFC Belgrade card has suffered another unfortunate setback, as Johnny Walker has officially been removed from the event just days before fight night. The promotion's first ever event in Belgrade was expected to feature several exciting matchups, but with time running out before the show, it appears the UFC was unable to keep Walker on the card. According to a report from MMA Fighting's Guilherme Cruz, the UFC could not secure a replacement opponent for Walker after his original opponent, Dante DeLea, was forced to withdraw from the fight due to an injury suffered last month. Since that withdrawal, fans have been waiting for news regarding a replacement, but no official announcement ever arrived. With UFC Belgrade scheduled to take place this Saturday, the lack of updates had already led many people to believe that Walker might not compete after all. Unfortunately, those expectations have now become reality, as the heavyweight matchup has officially fallen apart. The cancellation is especially disappointing because this event was supposed to mark a new chapter in Walker's UFC career. After spending years competing in the light heavyweight division, he was preparing to make his long-awaited heavyweight debut. Many fans were excited to see how his size, athleticism, and explosive striking would translate against bigger opponents in one of the UFC's most competitive weight classes. Walker's move to heavyweight had created plenty of interest throughout the MMA community. A successful debut could have immediately placed him on the radar in a division that is constantly looking for fresh contenders. Instead, those plans have now been delayed, leaving fans waiting to find out when and where his heavyweight debut will finally happen. The UFC also found itself in a difficult position. With only a few days remaining before the event, finding a suitable replacement willing to compete against Walker on such short notice was always going to be a major challenge. As a result, the promotion ultimately decided to remove the fight from the lineup altogether. Unfortunately, this is not the first significant setback for UFC Belgrade. The event has already lost another notable name during the build-up, making Walker's withdrawal another frustrating blow for a card that has dealt with multiple changes in recent weeks. Even with Walker no longer competing, UFC Belgrade still features several exciting matchups for fans to enjoy. However, there is no doubt that losing an established and entertaining fighter like Johnny Walker reduces some of the excitement surrounding the event. Fans will now be waiting for the UFC to announce his next booking and finally reveal when his highly anticipated heavyweight debut will take place. Move on to another news. Merab has revealed that he was dealing with a serious knee injury during his rematch against Petr Yan, giving fans a completely new perspective on one of the biggest upsets in the bantamweight division. Many people were surprised when Petr Yan defeated Merab in their second meeting last December. And now the former champion has explained that he entered the fight far from 100%. As the MMA world continues to wait for news about a potential trilogy fight between the two rivals, Merab has opened up about the physical condition he was dealing with before stepping into the octagon. During a recent lie detector test for Aviator Scribe, he was asked whether he had ever hidden an injury so that one of his fights could still take place. Merab admitted that he had done exactly that. He then revealed that both of his fights against Petr Yan came with significant injury concerns, something that had never been fully discussed before. Speaking about their first encounter, Merab explained that he had suffered a broken bone in his hand before the fight. Despite the injury, he refused to pull out and went on to defeat Yan with an incredible wrestling performance. That victory remains one of the most dominant displays of his career and showcased his determination to compete despite physical setbacks. However, Merab said the situation was even more difficult before the rematch. According to him, he was dealing with a knee injury, and UFC doctors even contacted him to let him know that withdrawing from the fight was an option. Instead of accepting that opportunity, Merab asked the medical staff not to tell anyone about the injury because he wanted the fight to go ahead as planned. By keeping the injury a complete secret, Merab entered one of the biggest fights of his career while knowing he was not fully healthy. Looking back now, that revelation has sparked fresh debate among fans and analysts about how much the injury may have affected his performance. Some people believe the knee injury helps explain why Merab's trademark wrestling was not nearly as effective in the rematch. During their first fight, he successfully completed an incredible 11 takedowns against Petr Yan. In the second meeting, however, he was unable to control the fight in the same dominant fashion, leading many to wonder whether the injured knee limited his movement, balance, and explosiveness. At the same time, others believe the result came down to Petr Yan making the necessary adjustments and executing a much better game plan than he did in their first fight. Regardless of which side fans support, Merab's latest revelation has certainly added important context to the rematch and has made the anticipation for a trilogy fight even bigger.